Hello, hello, hello. I am Otino Speaks. If you are new here, please like, subscribe, share. When I'm done with this live, comment. Let me know what you think. How you guys doing? I am Otino Speaks. As I said, I start every live off by letting you know that I am to the right. I lean to the right. So I say that so as to not be deceptive in any way, shape, or form and make you think that I'm just providing news like MSNBC. They provide news, and then you find out later on that it's an opinion. I would prefer to just give you the information up front and let you know this is my opinion, but it is based on facts, and I do share facts. It'll be very distinguishable when I'm giving an opinion versus when I am sharing facts, because I will typically show the facts on screen so that you know, okay, this is where he's getting this from. This is why he thinks the way he thinks. Vince, the sniper, what is going on, sir? How you doing? So I have a good one today. Lots of information. I have so much information that I'm making videos now also. I have 3 on the back burner that I'll be putting out. Right now, we have a movement. We have an organization, or somebody is paying Black celebrities to talk down to regular Black people, everyday Black people, and even other celebrities. They're trying to scare you into not speaking what you believe. Free speech. The title of today's live stream, I'm going to start out finishing off Kamala. Anyway, I'm going to start off today speaking about her first interview that she did, which was really, really bad. And then I'm going to segue into what I'm talking about now, which is free speech. We have these celebrities. They've clearly been bought and paid for. And I say that because they're all hypocrites. They've all said other things in the past, or they've all praised Donald Trump in the past. The person I want to speak about today is going to be Luther Campbell. Luke Skywalker, he used to call himself. Hello, Amber. Formerly of 2 Live Crew. And unfortunately for him, I know how to edit. So I'm going to play a couple of his things, and then I'm going to show who he really is. Anyway, title of today's live stream is Dissecting Kamala Harris's First Interview, Part 2, because I did a Part 1 on my last live. If you did not see that, please go back and check it out. Uncle Luke the Hypocrite and the Venezuelan Takeover. I'm gonna touch back on that one because I went over that a couple weeks ago, and I want to finish that. So we're gonna start off finishing off that interview. I'm not gonna do the Tim Walz part because it was not only was it boring, but it didn't really serve a purpose. So I'm just gonna play her part of the video, and here we go.
Another issue, big one, is immigration.
It is.
As Vice President, you were tasked with addressing the root causes of migration in southern countries and
northern part of Central America.
the northern part of Central America that affects the southern border of the U.S. During the Biden-Harris administration, there were record numbers of illegal border crossings. Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions?
All right, so just as I did the first time, I put the question up on the it'll probably be upper right hand of your screen. Either way, I put it on top. I left the question there because she doesn't really answer questions. What she does, if you ask her a question, you tell her, hey, I need you to go to Walmart and get this food. What she'll do is she will talk about the trip to Walmart and the food, and then she'll say, we got to get this, we got to get this, we got to get this, we've got to get this. She doesn't tell you how she's going to get there, how she's going to pay for it, and how she's going to get back with the stuff, and figure out what you really need. She just repeats the question back to you by telling you, hey, we got to do this. So what I did on the first one and I did on this one is I put the question up top. Sometimes I'll have to paraphrase, but I put the question up top so you guys can see what the real question is versus what she's talking about, because she's not very smart. Anyway.
Well, first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president, has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including historic investments by American businesses in that region. The number of immigrants coming from that region has actually reduced.
All right, lie number 1. And again, I put this stuff up so you guys can see the truth. She just said the number has reduced. It is literally at an all-time high. This was as of, let's see, since these measures were lifted in 2021, this is BBC.com. The numbers have steadily risen, reaching an all-time high just over 302,000 in December 2023. The number has not gone down. The number has not gone down. So here you can see when Trump left, you can see the beginning of 2021, because January is when the administration changed over. It has literally skyrocketed and never come near any of the Trump numbers. So what she's talking about, I have no idea. She said the numbers have gone down. They absolutely have not. As a matter of fact, a record number of illegals have come through since they took over. So she's talking about the work that she's put in. I'm showing you the facts. So my opinion is that she's an idiot. Sorry.
Since we began that work. But I will say this, that Joe Biden and I and our administration worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border.
Okay, so the question is, why did you guys wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions? They just did that last month. All the lady did was ask why. She's saying, well, we got to take care of the issue, and the issue is the border. We know. That's not the question. Why did you wait until now, lady? That is the question. Go back.
I will say this, that Joe Biden and I and our administration worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border. And through bipartisan work, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, a bill was crafted, which we supported, which I support. And Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border. And because he believes that it would not have helped him politically.
This woman was asked, the question's still there. Why did you guys wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions? She's talking about a bill. Donald Trump didn't need a bill to do what he did. He enforced the laws that we have. Why is she talking? She's trying to blame Republicans and Donald Trump for why they haven't done anything. You didn't need a bill. If she just went back to what Trump was doing without legislation, the illegal immigration issue would not be where it is today. But she would rather talk about Donald Trump. This is what they did at the DNC. I think they said they mentioned his name over 100 times in 3 days. That's insane. He mentioned her name, I believe, they said it was like under 10 times throughout the RNC. She's making it about him. He's not in office. He hasn't been in office since 2020. He left early 2021, January. Why is she She's trying to blame Donald Trump for not doing anything. And the question is still up there. Why haven't you done anything, woman?
This bill that would have contributed to securing our border, and because he believes that it would not have helped him politically, he told his folks in Congress, don't put it forward. He killed the bill. A border security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large part because they knew they were working around the clock, and 1,500 more agents would help them.
Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions? She's talking about a bill that they just put up a month or two ago to finally address the issue because they saw the polling and they realized, oh crap, this is more serious this time. People weren't taking it as serious last time. Now that we've allowed, I think they said it's upward of 10 million illegals in since they've been in office. Now she's blaming Trump. She's blaming Trump who's not in office, for convincing Republicans who are in office to not vote for something that all Republicans have been for since George Bush Sr. And she thinks people are going to believe it. Problem is, people are going to believe it. The people who just vote off of skin color are listening to her and saying, wow, Donald Trump actually stopped her bill from going through. That's why we have all these illegals in our park. That's why we have all these illegals in the airport. That's why we have all these illegals in the police stations. This is insane. He's not in power. Republicans don't have majorities. 50-50. But he does not have the ability to convince all of them, because most of them don't even like him. He does not have the ability to convince all of them to do what he wants them to do, which is not secure the border. It's insane.
Bill would have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any community in America that has been devastated by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and the pain that they've experienced.
Listen to what she just did. This bill would have helped with fentanyl. Fentanyl is bad. Ask anybody who's dealt with fentanyl, and they'll tell you it's bad. Lady, what does that have to do with the question you were asked? It's all filler words. This is what she does. I'm trying to point this out to you guys so you can see she's not answering the questions. Her reasoning for not doing anything for the first 3.5 years of her term and waiting until now is Donald Trump. So let me ask you this. If she wins and tries to pass this bill, by her logic, Donald Trump will still be able to stop her from getting anything done. So why even elect her? Why elect a woman who can't get anything done? How you doing, Miss SJ? Why elect a woman who can't get anything done because a man externally convinces people internally to not put something through? Why elect her then? She's saying Donald Trump has this kind of power. Where does the power go in February of next year? He still has it, right? Why elect her then? He has more power than Joe Biden, the president, the current president, and he has more power than her. And she's saying that Donald Trump killed the law while not being in office. Think about that.
Would push that legislation again. I just want to
Not
ask
only
about
push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
just one other question about something that you said in 2019 when you first ran. There was a debate. You raised your hand when asked whether or not the border should be decriminalized.
There we go.
Do you still believe that?
Do you still believe the border should be decriminalized? Listen to her answer. And again, the bad thing for these people is that I know how to edit. So I'm going to bring your words back to you.
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally, and there should be consequence. And let's be clear, in this race, I'm the only person who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. I'm the only person in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws, and I would enforce our laws as president going forward. I recognize the problem. The way it has been characterized is to suggest that undocumented immigrants are criminals, which has led then to this president being able to then suggest that they're murderers and rapists. Tell you what I've said for years, which is being an undocumented immigrant is not a crime. That it is a violation of rules. That's not the point, though.
All right. So the question was, do you still believe the border should be decriminalized? This is why I put it up there. So you don't forget what this person said, and then you can listen to what she's saying.
Organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. I'm the only person in this race who actually served a border state as attorney.
Listen to all this bragging about what she's done in the past. And we're going to go to her past and see what she was really saying.
The way it has been characterized is to suggest that undocumented immigrants are criminals, which has led then to this president being able to then suggest that they're murderers and rapists. Tell you what I've said for years, which is being an undocumented immigrant is not a crime.
It's not a crime.
It is a violation of rules. That's not the point, though. the idea that he is trying to say that we have people that are trying to invade our country to commit mass crime is a crisis of his own making. This is a crisis of his own making because it was a campaign pledge that took heat and propelled him to victory, and he feels the need to keep reciting what is a lie.
Generally speaking,
So was it a lie? Why were you saying it's not a crime and now you're saying I've always said it's a crime? My values have never changed. That's a theme you're going to hear coming up.
how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
She was just given the answer. How you doing, El Boogie? This lady, in her question, tried to give her the answer. She's saying, hey, I'm asking you a question, but I'm giving you the answer. Just say yes. Or take one of these excuses that I'm giving you and ride with it. The problem with her is she doesn't know how to do that. That's why her interviews are terrible. Right here. Dana just tried to give her the answer and she still botches it. You know why? Because they practice something else. So she's going to say that and she cannot deviate. Every time she deviates is when you get that weird cackle. How you doing, Free J? Listen to, she's given the answers. Look how long I had the question up before she actually stopped talking. Should the voters look at the changes you've made in policy instead? Or how should they look at it? And all of this.
How should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it
more information
because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed.
Oh, okay.
You mentioned the Green New Deal.
She didn't mention
I have always believed.
She didn't mention the Green New Deal. So I played the whole first interview, or first part of the interview. This is the whole second part of the interview. She never mentioned the Green New Deal. But her talking point is your values haven't changed. You got to say this so people know your values haven't changed. Bring up the Green New Deal. She didn't bring it up. She didn't say anything about it. That was interesting. Huh. All right. Let's try this again. Sorry about that. Wow. Never had any issues. Wife had to come up here and help. Camera just shut off. Crazy. I've never had issues till I'm going over this woman. All right, let's go back to where I was. Let's see. Let's see. That was very interesting. I can't pull it. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see where we were.
Another issue, big one, is
There's the question. All right, here we go.
and should they feel comfortable
Wow.
and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed.
Okay.
You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed. So that is the reality of it. And 4 years of being vice president, I'll tell you, one of the aspects to your point is traveling the country extensively. I mean, I'm here in Georgia. I think somebody told me 17 times since I've been vice president in Georgia alone. I believe it is important to build consensus. And it is important to find a common place of understanding of where we can actually solve problems.
On that note, you had a lot of Republican speakers at the convention. Will you appoint a Republican to your cabinet?
Yes, I would.
Anyone in mind?
Yes, I would. No one in particular in mind. We got 68 days to go with this election, so I'm not putting the cart before the horse, but I would. I think it's really important. I have spent.
All right. Sorry. I have no idea what just happened. Anyway, she's talking, let's see.
My career in.
Right here.
I think it's really important. I have spent my career inviting diversity of opinion. I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences.
All right. Over 90% of her staff members, since they got in office, since Biden-Harris got in office, have left at some point since her being the vice president. Same thing happened when she was a DA. Same thing happens when she was an AG. This is who she is. She's talking about listening to other people, listening to dissenting opinions. Lie. Absolute lie. Her staff hates her. This is one of the things that the media was pushing about her, saying, hey, something's wrong here. Why is everybody quitting on her? 4 of her initial 47 hires from her first year have left. 4. I keep telling you guys she's not a likable person. How you doing, Amber's Truth? Thank you for your patience, everybody. Thank you for your patience. I was cyber attacked. Somehow my camera just shut off. Mic's shut off. Everything just shut off. Very, very strange. Never had any issues streaming. No internet issues, no nothing. All of a sudden, chaos. Right? A weird time. Very weird time. Oh, I appreciate you. I see the super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm assuming that's you because you said you sent one. So Free J, I appreciate you. Thank you very, 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 very much. So she's not a likable person. Nobody likes working with her. The proof is everybody quits on her. So what she's saying right now makes absolutely no sense. None.
And I think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
I want to ask you about your opponent, Donald Trump.
Okay.
I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
And he,
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
that's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Not gonna answer.
Let's talk about some foreign policy.
Why-
But
why
what I
didn't
want to
you answer
ask you
that?
about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
Why didn't you say I'm black? That's ridiculous. Well, why would anybody else gets their race question? The first thing you say is that's not true. That's a lie. Why didn't she answer? She sat there. She does not want to say she's black. She's allowing everybody else to say it. But she said several times that she's Indian American, South Indian. Why didn't she correct that right there? Kay Soprano, how you doing? Phoenix Rising, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Why didn't she answer the question? Isn't that weird? If somebody says you ain't black, well, I guess if you're Charlemagne the God, you wouldn't say anything either. But isn't it weird that she would say, yeah, that's silly, that's ridiculous, or I'm offended that somebody would question my blackness? She didn't do that. She just sat there.
But what I want to ask you about is what he
Smiling.
said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
A core part of your identity, you're not going to defend it? When Mindy, what's her name? What's the Indian lady's name? When she asked if she's Asian, yes, yes, yes. We've heard Kwame. It's hilarious because she did it. Yes, 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 yes. Now, this woman is telling her, hey, this person said you're not black. Are you black? Next question. That's not a normal response. It really isn't. Free J, 100%. 100%. Who wouldn't correct that? Like, I don't know anyone who wouldn't correct that. It says, I've been saying forever and ever, she's getting a pass because she's an AKA. Yeah. She was literally questioned, hey, this guy says you ain't black. What do you have to say about that? Next question. This is wild. When I watch this, I'm like, she's really not going to answer? They're just going to move on. And for some reason, Dana allows her to do it. This is how you know they're in their pocket.
And he,
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
that's it?
That's it.
Okay. Let's talk about some foreign policy issues that would be on your plate if you become commander in chief. President Biden has tried unsuccessfully to end the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. He's been doing it for months and months, along with you. Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change. But let's take a step back. October 7, 1,200 people were massacred. Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would.
Right.
And how it does so matters.
The question is, would you do anything differently if the left wanted you to? Which is end this war. Throughout the DNC, there was, they gave a final number, but it was well over 1,000 people who were protesting this war. So the question is, hey, if your people want you to stop doing something, are you going to stop? If your people want you to do something, are you going to do it? She's not answering the question. And absolutely 100% case. It's hard to end a war that you're funding. That's the bottom line here. Same thing with Ukraine. It's no different. They don't want to end the war. I'll let her tell.
Far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. And we have got to get a deal done. We were in Doha. We have to get a deal done. This war must end.
In the meantime,
and we must get a deal that is about getting the hostages out. I've met with the families of the American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
but no change.
All right. A leader gives reasons to do something, gives a path to doing it, and then says how they're going to do it. She's saying we must end this war. We gotta end the war. We gotta get a treaty. We gotta get. That's not a leader. What she's saying is she's repeating the question back, and she's formulating it in a way to explain the problem. She's just telling the problem. We gotta do this. We gotta do this. We gotta do this. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? She's panicking just from a question. Imagine when she actually has somebody and she has to make a decision. Listen to this nonsense.
And we have got to get a deal done. We were in Doha. We have to get a deal done. This war must end.
In the meantime,
Yeah. You're talking about being the boss. How would you do it? That's the point of an interview, Kamala. Kamala? 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 She's asking you how you're going to do it. Would you do something differently? And you're telling her the problem. We know the problem. We know it's got to end. Otherwise, she wouldn't have asked you the question. So what you're doing now is you're saying, we got to stop this. We got to end the war. We got to get hostages back. And she's going down a list of things that need to be done. We know. What are you going to do, lady? What are you going to do?
Palestinians have been killed.
We know.
And we have got to get a deal done. We were in Doha. We have to get a deal done. This war must end.
in the meantime,
And we must get a deal that
Gotta do
is
it.
about getting the hostages out. I've met with the families of the American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
but no
All right, let's get it done, people. Let's fix the economy. Let's get world peace. Let's get rid of the debt. We know. You're just saying the problems. You're listing the problems. You're not talking about a plan. Phoenix, no plan, but you're running for president. You're just telling the world what we need to do. We need to end global warming. We need to be able to build habitats on Mars. Like we know what needs to be done. The point is, how are you going to get there, lady? How are you going to get there? Free J. So the reason I do that is because no matter what you say, they correct you. So now I just say all three. Kamala? Because no matter what you say, they're going to correct you and say you're saying it wrong, just so they have something to complain about. So that's why I do that. She can't give one. She can't give one point plan. She's just telling us we got to get groceries. We got to eat. We got to feed the boys. We got to get gas. We got to go to the store. She's not saying how anything's supposed to be done, what her plan is. How are you going to execute it? Like, you don't need a plan B. She doesn't even have a plan A. She's just telling the problem. This in itself is a problem.
change in policy in terms of arms and so forth.
No, we have to get a deal done. Dana, we have to get a deal done. When you look at the significance of this to the families, to the people who are living in that region,
Oh my God.
a deal is not only the right thing to do to end this war, but will unlock so much of what must happen next. I
Really?
remain committed since I've been on.
So a deal can unlock the potential of all these other places. A deal means peace. We must have peace. This woman's running for president. She wants to be your president. And if you're the president of the United States, you are essentially the president of the world. Everyone looks to us. What is she doing? She's telling you the problem. We must. We need food. We must get food. We must have food. This is insane.
October 8 to what we must do to work toward a two-state solution. where Israel is secure, and in equal measure, the
Oh my God.
Palestinians have security and self-determination and dignity.
Let me go back to this comment. She's insane. What she's saying is she's stating the problem. I can't say it enough because I don't understand how anyone can think that she's an intelligent human being. I saw a really, really, really smart guy say, no, it's not word salad. She's just a very thorough thinker. And I'm not going to say his name. I don't want. But do you guys understand the difference between an interview where somebody says, "Hey, what are your plans on this?" and then they just list all the problems? That's wild. To me, that is scary. And when people don't see it, it's even more scary. Kamala Harris. That is terrifying that she thinks that that's acceptable. That's not acceptable. Those kind of answers are not acceptable. All right. I wasn't going to talk about this guy because he's irrelevant in 2024. Heading into 2025, the last thing this person has done is in the 90s. He did fight for free speech, but he made money off of black women twerking, essentially, and some Hispanic and Asian women. But for the most part, this guy made a living off of black women twerking. And for some reason, he's now coming out saying wild things. So, again, unfortunately for him, I know how to edit. So, Luther Campbell, Luke Skywalker, you lost that name, did you? Uncle Luke is what they call you now. Leader of Two Live Crew. Whatever you're going by now. Grandpa Luke. Why are you talking? Of all people, he should not be talking about politics. He should not be talking on this topic. He definitely should not be promoting a black woman in a positive light. It is the opposite of everything he's ever done. Again, unfortunately for you, Luke, I can edit. So, let's talk about Uncle Luke.
It's about women's right to choose. This is about property, another Supreme Court.
All right. That's not the initial image that was there. I put that there, to be fair. So while this man is talking, I wanted to be known what he's known for. So I did that. What was originally there, I think, was some kind of policy stuff. But again, unfortunately for him, I can edit. All right, Luke, let's hear what you got to say about the candidates vying for the black male vote.
This is about property, another Supreme Court nominee. This is about innocent black men, lives on the land.
Hold on. I'm getting sick and tired of you motherfucking Negroes who's out here trying to take the blackness away from Kamala Harris, our VP and soon to be president, because your daddy Donald Trump gives you these talking messages so you repeat the dumb shit.
Coming from him, just look at the side images. These are from his music videos. Unfortunately, like again, I can edit. While you're trying to be serious, this is all I see. It's not all bad images, but this is all I see while Uncle Luke, Grandpa Luke, Luke Skywalker, Luther Campbell, while you're talking, this is all I see, dude. You're not a serious human being. Stop trying, please.
Oh, she's an Indian. She's black on occasions. Really? Make that shit make sense. Black HBCU, pledge in one of the most prestigious black sororities, aka.
That's a black thong right there on a black woman while you're talking about, never mind. Sorry. I apologize.
Member of the Black Caucus.
This dude.
Born and raised in Black Oakland. Yes, she went abroad like a lot of all of us. Go abroad into Canada and stay for a few years, come back.
I've never gone to Canada and stayed for a few years and come back. What do you mean all of us do this? Is that what you do? Is that what you do? Is that what you did? Where are you from, Luke? I thought you were Caribbean. I made this today. Because he keeps coming out saying ridiculous things. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show who this dude really is. Hopefully enough people watch it and say, all right, why are we even listening to this guy?
Go to college, state attorney, prosecutor,
Black Caucus again.
member of the Black Caucus, stand up in the Senate for black issues time and time after again, y'all, man. In the words of Chad Johnson, child please.
Message to all black men who left the Democratic Party for the MAGA Party. I'm going to offer you this one-time opportunity to come back. You can come back. You have until Sunday, 12 high noon. We'll take you back. We'll take you back. There's no more blue, no matter who. It's come on, bang, bang.
All right. Now, that's Luke. That's current Luke. Luther Campbell, who's against free speech, apparently, even though he fought throughout all of the 90s fighting for free speech so that he can show black women and white women twerking, and Asian women, of course. And he was correct. They have the right to do whatever they want. He has the right to play whatever he wants. Why is he threatening black men till high noon, and then what? This was 2 weeks ago. What happened? I haven't seen any repercussions of this little threat. But anyway, about 4 years ago, this was Uncle Luke. I think he was still Uncle. He looks a little bit more, maybe he was dyeing his hair. Let's listen to Uncle Luke 4 or 5 years ago.
Hey, I heard Democratic Party want us to vote. They want the hip hop party to tell young people to go out and vote. They want us to say, hey, y'all go out and vote. Vote for the Democratic candidate. Well, who the fuck is going to do something for us?
This sounds like everybody right now, but let's read these tweets. So, Luke. Oh, Luke. This tweet here, I don't know if you guys can see it, so I'm going to read it. This is his Twitter on May 1st of 2022. So, okay, it's only 2 years ago. African Americans get nothing from the Democrat Party. All they do is use us for our vote. All right. We just heard what he was saying now. But anyway, okay. On July 6th of 2024, this year, I'm happy I'm a Democrat so that I don't have to explain why I'm a Republican. Signed, Luke. So now, what's changed, Luke? I'm gonna play this one again. I know I'm interrupting. I'm gonna play this one again so you guys can get the full grasp of what this idiot is doing. Sorry, what Uncle is doing.
How many years we been voting? We got nothing out the fucking deal.
I agree, Luke.
See, the Democratic Party need to connect with the hip hop party, which is the elites need to connect with the streets.
I mean,
So did the elites connect with you? Is that why you're now in line? How much you get paid? Come on, Luke. We know you haven't made any music in decades. What is this really about?
Freaknik was equivalent to any other major black movement. I mean, it was the Million Man March every year.
Freaknik was the Million Man March every year. This is the guy that people are listening to. I put this in here because I want people to understand what they're listening and who they're taking serious. He just compared Freaknik to the Million Man March. Let's hear what else he has to say. What else are you going to compare Freaknik to, Luke?
It was on that level. You know what I'm saying? So the Million Man March was Black history. The March on Selma was Black history.
Okay.
You know, every year, you know, people geared up, young folks geared up, young folks who couldn't go to it, couldn't wait till they became college students or being adults to be able to go to it. So it became a way of life.
He compared Sit this one out. Please. Comparing Freaknik to Selma? Really? I'm going to play that again so you guys can hear the difference between Luke now versus then, and then just showing how big of an idiot it is. He's comparing Freaknik, which is the degradation of black women, to Selma and our civil rights movement and the Million Man March.
This is about women's right to choose. This is about probably another Supreme Court nominee. This is about innocent black men, lives on the land.
Hold on. I'm getting sick and tired of you motherfucking Negroes who's out here trying to take the blackness away from Kamala Harris, our VP and soon to be president, because your daddy Donald Trump gives you these talking messages so you repeat the dumb shit. Oh, she's an Indian, she's black on occasions. Really?
Yeah.
Make that shit make sense. Black HBCU, pledge in one of the most prestigious black sororities, aka member of the Black Caucus, born and raised in Black Oakland. Yes, she went abroad like a lot of us, all of us, go abroad into Canada and stay for a few years, come back, go to college, state attorney, prosecutor, member of the Black Caucus, stand up in the Senate for black issues time and time after again. Y'all, man. In the words of Chad Johnson, child, please.
Message to all black men who left the Democratic Party for the MAGA Party. I'm going to offer you this one-time opportunity to come back. You can come back.
Okay.
You have until Sunday, 12 high noon. We'll take you back. We'll take you back. There's no more blue no matter who. It's come on, bang, bang.
Hey, I heard Democratic Party want us to vote. They want the hip hop party to tell young people to go out and vote. They want us to say, hey, y'all go out and vote. Vote for the Democratic candidate. Well, who the fuck is gonna do something for us? How many years we been voting?
This dude.
We got nothing out the fucking deal. See, the Democratic Party need to connect with the hip-hop party, which is the elites need to connect with the streets.
I mean, Freaknik was equivalent to any other major black movement. I mean, it was the Million Man March every year. It was on that level. You know what I'm saying? So the Million Man March was Black history. The March on Selma was Black history. You know, every year, you know, people geared up, young folks geared up, young folks who couldn't go to it, couldn't wait till they became college students or being adults to be able to go to it. So it became a way of life.
Yeah, don't take advice from Luke. I'm done with that clown. You'll never hear me say anything else about him. If anyone wants that video, I'll probably make it unlisted. And you know what? I'm gonna put it. I'll probably post that video so anyone can share that. I made that one today. That dude is a clown. I mean, he's known for having a bunch of women twerking. Why are we taking political advice from him? Nothing wrong with what he did. He was very successful at it. But he is not a moral authority in any way, shape, or form. So taking him seriously, like I said, I wasn't even going to do it, but he won't stop talking. He's just showing up on interviews. Like, what? Why is anyone listening to this guy? This fool thinks he's going to run against Ron DeSantis and win in Florida for governor. Anyway, what do you think? I have more. Just the nerve of some people to think that they have a moral high ground to speak on anything when their history is based on the opposite, or they just said the opposite, means, guess what? You probably got paid. Somebody convinced you. Some of those elites came down and spoke with you. That's all you wanted, was to be in with the elites, right? That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it looks like to me. I have no idea why he's doing what he's doing. I do have a hunch that Vince was correct about the AKAs. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's pressure. We know he's in with the colleges. That's where he's made all his money. It's very interesting. The only reason I haven't talked about this one, Kays, is because I have no idea who that person is. No idea. I don't listen to most of the kind of music that's out right now. I just don't. So I didn't know who he is. I've watched a lot of videos on him, but it wouldn't be genuine of me to talk about something I don't know who the person is. It's just weird that there are certain people who are doing it, and there are people who said that they were offered money, even though Umar is a clown. He was offered money to do this. Why is that not a story alone? The Democrats are allowed to just pay people to promote them? I thought you have to buy ads. This is a way they skirt the rules. And they're using entertainment, which is fine, whatever. It should be considered a donation, though. They need to figure that part out. Because it is free speech, but when it comes to financing campaigns, they need to figure that out. Look into RFK. He's going to say, yes. Trump's putting him in charge of that, which is really going to be cool. We're finally going to get to the bottom of something that was talked about. It's been being talked about since the 70s. Why did it take so long? Clearly, there's something in there that they don't want us to see. Trump's going to put RFK in charge of that. That's pretty cool. Oh, I didn't see the MLK part, though. That's even cooler. We should know about all of this stuff. Even Bobby Kennedy. Why don't we know about all of these assassinations? Why? What is the harm of us finding out the truth? Even Malcolm X, it's shadowy of exactly what happened. Black Panther Party, like, we should know about all of this by now. Why are we still sitting on this information? One of the many rappers that lied about their lifestyle and people, yeah. That's why I don't listen to most of the stuff that's out now. Anyway, next topic. Let's see. Venezuelans. I did a live stream. This is the live stream right here. Kamala Harris's communist equity agenda is on full display, and too many Americans don't see it. Right here, you can see the guy. You see Aurora. I did a story on it, and at the time I said, you know what? I don't know what the truth is. I don't know what's going on. I'm just reporting the news. I have no opinion on it. But it looked really shady. So what I did do is look into it more and wait. Sometimes you just need to wait to see. A story will come out. MLK and JFK were assassinated for the same reasons by the Democratic Party. Oh boy, if that comes out to be the truth, oh man, I've always thought it's the FBI. I'm sticking with it, but we're gonna find out true or soon. Sorry, true. I don't know what that was. Let me check this real quick. Awesome. All right, now we're gonna look at present, and this is not just Venezuela, but I put some illegal stuff in there, and I'll separate it when it gets there, so you guys don't confuse the two.
Immigrants in California now one step closer to receiving state funds that they could use for a down payment on a home. Senior national correspondent William LaJeunesse reports. Hi, William.
Well, Martha, the bill just passed the state Senate. It now goes back to the Assembly, where Democrats have a supermajority, and aides tell me it is likely to pass.
It already passed. So now we're just waiting for Gavin Newsom to see if he passes it. But it already passed. Well, I'll wait till I get to the second part.
The bill makes illegal migrants eligible for $150,000 to buy a new home. Lawmakers created the program so citizens and legal residents could afford to live here. But last week, Democrats changed the law to say this: an applicant who meets requirements for the loan assistance program shall not be disqualified solely based on the applicant's immigration status.
The social and economic benefits of homeownership should be accessible to everyone, regardless of immigration status.
So whether or not you're supposed to be here shouldn't matter if you're going to buy a home to be here. That's what he just said. Does that make sense? Let me ask you this. How do you know who this person is that's buying property? In my opinion, Chinese, because the Chinese government is making huge purchases of land in this country. There are several people doing it, but the biggest one right now is Chinese. Why is somebody allowed to get here illegally, buy a home with no documentation? How do you even know who this person is? How do you know who he is or she?
So the program provides first-time buyers with a zero-interest loan up to 20% of the home's purchase price. So that's up to $150,000 cash up front for a down payment and closing costs. This year, this $255 million program sold out in 11 hours, requiring a lottery. 18,000 applied, 2,000 got loans. And when a home sells, the state is repaid with a small percentage of any appreciation. The bill is sponsored by a prominent Latino rights group with close ties to Vice President Harris.
All right. Hello, Masakimi. How you doing? Sorry, I did not know you were going to be live earlier. I apologize. I really, really do. I did not see that. I had scheduled it for 6, and I'm sorry. I apologize. Won't happen again. I'll pay more attention. Up to $150,000 approved for anybody. Status doesn't matter. If you don't have a social security number, you don't know who this is. I bought in a home. I'm in a home right now. Right now, I'm upstairs in a home. There was a lot of paperwork. It's like a book. And I just keep flipping pages. And you have to sign, and you have to sign, and you have to sign. And it's like a 20-minute process of signing documents and explaining documents just for the final purchase. If you're illegal, you don't need anything. You don't need a license. You don't need, well, this will be your residence because they said first-time home buyers. How is this person tracked? How do we know who they are? We don't. We can't. It's impossible. By definition, you have no documents. You're undocumented. You're illegal. You're not supposed to be here. So what are they signing? Whose name are they signing? Just John Doe? This is insane. Zero interest. Now, I thought I had it good because we're on just under 3%. I think the rate now is like 8% or something insane. 0% interest. What is the motivation, or I just don't see why they would pay it back if you don't even know who they are. You can't track them. How is that possible? Oh, Miss Akimi, it's 0.
This loan up to 20% of the home's purchase price
should be accessible to everyone, regardless of immigration status.
So the program provides first-time buyers with a zero-interest loan up to 20% of the home's purchase price. So that's up to $150,000 cash up front for a down payment and closing costs. This year, this $255 million program sold out in 11 hours, requiring a lottery. 18,000 applied, 2,000 got loans. And when a home sells, the state is repaid with a small percentage of any appreciation. The bill is sponsored by a prominent Latino rights group with close ties to Vice President Harris.
0 interest. So this tells me they're not expecting the money back. They're not expecting this money back. And realistically, how are they going to get it back? The good thing is there's only 2,000, and we don't know how many were illegal, how many were legal. I have a feeling there were many more illegal, because there's no reason to change the verbiage if it were. That should have been an exception, but in this case, they made it the rule. Anyway.
What the rest of the America needs to be worried about is the Kamala Harris-Walz administration taking these crazy California ideas and nationalizing them and taking them to the rest of the country. The country can't afford to buy illegal immigrants' homes.
They claim.
All right, so now we're switching over back to the Venezuela thing. Now, I played the video I showed you guys. I played the mayor saying, you know, this is more of a landlord, slumlord situation. This is not what they're saying. It's not what they're making it out to be. So I put a little bit of that in here just so you guys can see where this all started in Aurora, Colorado. So it's still talking about illegal immigration, but we're making a shift here in this video.
Without evidence that the building is actually being closed because it was.
All right, so you already started.
To buy illegal immigrants' homes.
They claim, without evidence, that the building is actually being closed because it was taken over by a Venezuelan gang.
They're out-of-state slumlords, and they haven't maintained the building.
The landlord from New York has hired a public relations firm out of Florida and now has several of Mayor Kaufman's fellow conservatives on Aurora City Council convinced that the real issue is not years of code violations, but a city cover-up of a takeover of the complex by a Venezuelan gang.
We have a Venezuelan gang problem that has taken over a number of our apartment complexes.
A number of apartment complexes. It's not just this one. I think the mayor later says it's 2 or 3 full complexes. This one, I believe, had 80-something families living in it. Anyway.
The city of Aurora says that's not true, and Aurora police urge city council to be wary of misinformation.
We don't know that all the information that's publicly out there right now is correct. It's probably not.
I got caught up on this 2 weeks ago, 12 days ago, when I made that other video. I was like, why would he say probably not? It was very weird. I listened to words. Words have meaning. We heard that earlier with Miss Akimi. Words have meaning. So I listened very, very, very carefully. And I said, why would he say probably not? If you read it there, it says, we don't know that all the information is publicly out there right now, or all the information that is publicly out there right now is correct. It's probably not. Why did he say that? It caught my ear then, so I'm playing it again now.
Complex by a Venezuelan gang.
We have a Venezuelan gang problem that has taken over a number of our apartment complexes.
The city of Aurora says that's not true.
Not true.
Aurora police urge city council to be wary of misinformation.
We don't know that all the information that's publicly out there right now is correct. It's probably not.
The reason why I think they did this is because they were worried about perception. They're more worried about perception than reality. This is how it's always been. This is the epitome of virtue signaling. Hey, I'm not racist. And then they'll tell you why they're not racist while they're doing racist things. This person said the information that's out there is probably not true. So let's be careful. We don't want to offend all the illegal Venezuelans that are here. Even though they're losing their homes, we don't want to offend them. That's not offensive enough.
Aurora police say they believe the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua is operating inside the Denver metro area. There's a new task force working to identify the number of gang members and what they're doing.
We have out-of-state owners that are slumlords.
He keeps, even when he talks about the gang, he has to throw that in there. It's slumlords. That's the real problem. It's just like in California when they're giving illegals loans and giving them access to homes. It's a housing problem. It's not a poverty issue. It's not the government spending. It's a housing problem. So here we're blaming the landlord. Landlord, I think, is in New York. He's a slumlord. This is the real problem.
I remember going there over a year ago at the request of the residents that, in looking at the habitability concerns of the building, and we were prepared to take the owners to court.
Prepared to take the owners to court, so you didn't. So for at least 1 year, you knew about a problem that you're saying was a slumlord problem. You're the mayor of Aurora. Why didn't you do anything about it? He just now right there, again, words matter. Words have meaning. He admitted he did nothing about it. Listen to what he says, because politicians are very precise with their words. The smart ones, sorry. Kamala's not very precise. Joe Biden. Okay. Anyway, Most politicians are very smart with their words. Listen to what he says. This is a slumlord. I knew about it a year ago. And I was going to take him to court. So you didn't do your job? So you allowed people to live in a slum for a year. You're admitting it.
And what they're doing.
We have out-of-state owners that are slumlords. I remember going there over a year ago. At the request of the residents that, in looking at the habitability concerns of the building, and we were prepared to take the owners to court.
All right, the citizens and non-citizens of Aurora, Colorado, begged the mayor, come see how we're living. He goes there and does nothing for over a year. He just admitted that. He just admitted it. Sounds like something else is going on in America where on the outside thinking things are not what they may be, what they may believe, almost like a third world country. Yeah, the government is playing games. They're all about power and votes. That's what this really is, in my opinion. See how I said in my opinion? That's where you know that I'm separating the news from my opinion. They are creating problems so they can fix them. So they can claim they're going to fix them. They'll never address the problem. By the time it comes time to address the problems, they're running for office again, and they're making promises to fix the problems. It's a circle. I was in Chicago. I was back home in Chicago for a week, a couple of weeks ago, and I went back to where I used to live, and it looks exactly the same. Now, there are new types of businesses in the same old buildings, but the streets, the alleys, it's all the same. There's even some of the same graffiti, and I haven't been there in a year. So the promise is, I'm going to fix it, but they never fix it. It's circular.
And unfortunately, have come to this level where if it's not habitable, it's not habitable. And we need to relocate the families that are there.
The apartment owners claim that the problems are being caused by a Venezuelan gang. The mayor acknowledged that there is a gang in the city, but the conditions and the problems at this building date back years before the migrant crisis even started.
How does he know? How does he know? How does he know the date that this gang started taking over? This is a video from a TikToker, and I just thought it was very interesting because it is related to this topic.
Nigga, the Venezuelans is taking over. They just jacked them? Oh, me. These niggas is out here tripping.
Warning on language. Warning on language. Sorry. A little late, but warning.
Bro, damn, they done made a mess of shit.
Nigga, y'all are on bullshit out here. That is on bullshit.
Oh, shit. What the f? Yeah, they're tripping. Nigga, they cracking off in the air and everything. They driving over the... Nigga, we almost just got hit. Bro, these niggas is on bullshit.
You hear that? So he said what they're doing, and then you got to hear what they're doing. These are Black Americans telling you the Venezuelans are taking over. They almost hit one of them, and then you can hear them shooting in the background. They're turning it into where they're from, a third world country. This is Aurora, Colorado, where the mayor said, "No, this is really about slumlords."
I'm trying to record, but I gotta watch the...
All right, so this is a ring footage or just a camera of somebody, from somebody who recorded, looks like a home invasion.
Police in Aurora.
All right, now That was then. This is now. That video was now. I want you to hear the mayor's tone and how he changes everything he said just 12 days ago.
Are creating a task force to address concerns about the rise of a violent Venezuelan gang, Trendaragua, right there in Colorado. Let's bring in Aurora City Council member Danielle Jurinsky. Danielle, thank you. We've been hearing about this for quite some time. Residents have shared their concern. We've heard this coming up at city council meetings there. Aurora said we don't have anything to do with this migrant crisis or trying to help because we just don't have the space. The hospitals were overwhelmed. What is it that you're seeing right now as far?
Sorry, correction. This is still back then, 12 days ago. This footage is from old. When the woman interviewing, when her outfit turns blue, that's current. Sorry, I made a mistake. I want to be clear on that.
Is this Venezuelan gang taking over now the migrant centers there?
It's unreal. It's unreal. Residents tell me they feel like they are living in a third world country at this point. They are going block by block. They are going apartment complex by apartment complex. They are taking it over. I think the city doesn't really know how to handle it. So the city is burying certain properties that have been taken over by this Trendaragua gang, burying them with code violations and playing it off as if this is just simply code violations. But this gang, they are marking their territory. They are putting up their gang-related graffiti on the blocks, on the areas that they have taken over. And quite frankly, I have heard too many stories from too many property owners, business owners, and residents to think that this is anything other than a complete gang takeover in parts of our city.
Like, what are you hearing from them? So say the business owners, for example, what have they been experiencing?
Break-ins, violence, kicking doors in. I had one property owner tell me that a tenant literally vanished from their property to this day. They don't know what happened to that tenant. His phone was shut off. They had not collected rent. They went, knocked on the door to get into the unit. The Aurora Police Department had to come let them in the unit, and the whole place was filled with guns, money, and giant barrels of gasoline. I am being told that they are running a black market for gasoline. And again, like I said, to this day, they have no idea what happened to that man, to their.
Someone disappeared. They stopped collecting rent. You go to his house or his apartment, it's now filled with guns and gasoline. Where'd that person go? Are they alive? Did Aurora Police look into it? I haven't heard anything about this since. So again, even the next version of this, as we ease into the next segment of this, they don't talk about that guy who just disappeared. Strange.
Tenant.
Just reading through the what we know about Cookie Monster. I'm sure you've heard about this local gang leader by now. This is according to the reporting in the New York Post. This person has set up operations with the other gang members there in Aurora. This person allegedly took part in a brutal assault at an apartment complex there in Aurora. In March 2024, was arrested and charged with several felony assault charges, but was bailed out of custody and failed to show up in court. July 2024, just a couple months ago, arrested for allegedly carrying out a shooting at the same apartment where the previous assault occurred. One of your biggest points is, and we've heard this.
So let me go back to that because that's very interesting. These are crimes that this person has committed since the end of last year. Took part in a brutal assault at this apartment complex. It's called Fitzsimmons Place. In March, he was arrested, charged with several felony assault charges, but bailed out of custody and never showed up in court. Then he was arrested again in July for carrying out a shooting at the same apartment where the previous assault that he didn't show up for court happened. How is this person still on the streets? Why aren't they? What is going on? All of this has been done in the last, what are we in September? In the last 11 months? 10 months? This guy's clearly the gang leader because he's got his nickname. They know who this person is. Why does he keep getting out of jail? Why did he have bail? several felony assault charges, and he bailed out? That's weird. Is this one of those cities where they don't do bail? Like, to me, this makes no sense. In this country today, you can end up in jail over child support. But this person can have a brutal assault on their record in November, in March, charged with several felony assault charges, get out of jail, and then in July, arrested for carrying out a shooting in the same place. But if you miss child support, you can end up in jail. What are we doing? What are we doing? How is this possible? In this country, right now, how is this possible?
One of your biggest points is, and we've heard this from others, is that Denver initially downplayed the concerns about this gang takeover. Where's the city now on this, and what are they doing about it? I mean, we've heard that the Venezuelan gang has green-lighted their members to attack police when confronted.
Aurora, Colorado, Mayor.
All right, so now this is a different, so now this is current. So Cookie Monster greenlit the attacking of police in Colorado, but he's still out somehow. That's very curious. So this is the same woman following up, I believe this was 2 days ago, or yesterday even, maybe. Within this week, within the last 2-3 days, the mayor shows up again. Now listen to his tone change from before, where he was downplaying it, talking about slumlords, and you don't want to offend these illegals.
Thank you very much for coming on with us. It seems it's tough to even get some confirmation of the details of what is going on there. First off, can you confirm whether or not this gang has taken over these buildings there in Aurora?
So there are several buildings actually under.
So Amber's Truth, the reason why I didn't play or I didn't put your comment up until this is because I see they're using it as their backdrop. When he says that that's a fake play, he may be saying that it's fake news. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear the context of what he said, so I can't really comment on it. But I held it because I knew that they were going to be using it as a backdrop as the mayor talks about that apartment complex. So I wasn't ignoring your comment. That's just why I waited.
The same ownership, out-of-state ownership, that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs.
So now he's admitting that those landlords that he was calling slumlords have lost their buildings to this gang. He just admitted it very clearly, overtly admitted it.
Whether or not this gang has taken over these buildings there in Aurora?
So there are several buildings actually under the same ownership, out-of-state ownership, that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs.
All right. So is it more likely that they know who the property management is and that they know that they're out of town or they're out of state, so they targeted these specific complexes? Is that likely? Or is it what this guy was saying before, that it's the slumlords that they're allowing this to happen and they're just being negligent? Because it sounds like these specific complexes were targeted.
I'm trying to walk it back and do the investigation as to how there's a concentration of Venezuelans in these three buildings.
Why are you trying to walk it back? You've known about this for 12 days now. You were told about this. You've been being told about this for months. Now that it cannot be hidden anymore, you're saying, I got to figure out what's going on. I don't know what's going on here. This is wild. A fugitive with operatives who are willing to commit heinous crimes. Yeah. And then they know that he committed a crime. He didn't show up to court and then committed another one, a worse one. Because that's what they do. That's what criminals do. They keep going and they get emboldened, especially when the police just let them go.
Somebody put them there and somebody funded it, whether it's federal government or not. We're trying to find out who. These gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants. And so,
that interested? He said somebody put them there. Maybe the federal government. Let's go back.
the investigation as to how there's a concentration of Venezuelans in these three buildings. Somebody put them there, and somebody funded it. Whether it's federal government or not, we're trying to find out who. These gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and so they've in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation. And
there it is. So the claims that he was making before, now he is confirming what the landlord said. He just said that they pushed out property management. Before he was blaming it on the owners. Now he is confirming what they've been saying the whole time. He's confirming it. These gangs pushed out the property management. That is why the buildings fell apart. That is why they are now slums. The owners told him this over a year ago when he said he went to visit. He's done nothing about it. Over a year ago, he said he went because the tenants were complaining to him. Hey, what's going on? We can't reach the landlord. The landlord doesn't collect rent anymore. This gang collects the rent. Do you understand what's happening here? This is insanity. This is the United States of America. We're not talking about Mexico. We're not talking about Mexico. He just confirmed what the landlord has been saying for over a year. We don't even collect rent there anymore. We can't. These people have taken over our properties. They've run my property management out. They are taking rent. They took over several apartment complexes.
There's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and so they've in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation. And
in fact, so he's verified what the landlord has said. Is he going to apologize? I mean, there's more than an apology due here, but you have all these tenants who've been dealing with this for over a year. You have the property managers who lost their own property in the United States of America. They have lost the right to manage it. They have lost the right to collect money for it. But I guarantee the government comes after come tax time. These people lost their own property in the United States of America, and he's been sitting on this for a year. Now he's saying, oh, well, it is a fact that property management was run out of here. And yes, illegals now own property of somebody who truly owns this property in America, 2024.
And then collected the rents. We have now, or have had, it is ongoing operations with a task force of local law enforcement, state law enforcement partners, and federal law enforcement partners to root them out. And arrests have been made, but these operations are still ongoing.
With the arrests that have been made, are these confirmed gang-affiliated members?
You know, this is an organized criminal effort. Whether it's Tren de Aragua, that remains to be seen. But
so he's trying to save face. But I want to go back to where he said they're collecting rent. This is the United States of America. A gang has took over several of someone else's properties. They've taken it over, and they are collecting rent in place of the owners. The owners have no control over their own property in the United States of America.
Walk it back and do the investigation as to how there's a concentration of Venezuelans in these three buildings. Somebody put them there, and somebody funded it. Whether it's federal government or not, we're trying to find out who. These gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and so they've in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation, and then collected the rents. We have now, or have had, it is ongoing operations with a task force of local law enforcement, state law enforcement partners, and federal law enforcement partners to root them out. And arrests have been made, but these operations are still ongoing.
So they're collecting rent. This is the United States of America. Send in the National Guard. They've been given permission to shoot at police. So you send in military, do an operation, get rid of them all. That's it. This is really simple. I don't understand what's going on. You see him stuttering. Yes, El Boogie, you caught that. He's scared. Why is he scared? Because he's allowed this to go on for over a year, according to him. The tenants begged him to come see their living conditions. The property owner said, I cannot do anything with this property, so it is going to fall apart. I have no control over it. This gang has run my property management out. That's what they said. He denied it this whole time up until now, 2 days ago. Now he's saying, yes, it is a fact. What they were saying for the last year, over a year, was true. Now we got to figure out what to do. Send in the National Guard, fully armed, with whatever you need, because they are clearly armed. Get rid of them. I don't care if you have to off them. I don't care if you have to just capture them and deport them. I don't understand this. They shouldn't be in our prisons. I don't want to pay for these people. They shouldn't even be here. But this is what's happening in the United States of America right now. What's going on, Bolo? What's going on, Mike? What's going on, El Boogie?
With the arrests that have been made, are these confirmed gang-affiliated members?
You know, this is an organized criminal effort. Whether it's Trende Aragua, that remains to be seen. But it really doesn't matter. I mean, if they're Venezuelan migrants and they're conducting crime in an organized manner, they're a problem.
So
it absolutely does matter, because your tenants, your citizens of your city said these are the people doing this. Now you're saying, well, if it's them or not, it doesn't really matter. They're still committing crimes. No. You need to target these ones specifically and get them out. They're the ones who are specifically terrorizing your citizens. They've been coming to you for over a year. You told us that. They've stolen property from landowners. They've collected rent on that property that landowner probably is still having to pay taxes on and hasn't been able to collect on their own property for over a year. So it is important whether or not those are the right people. The reason you said it's not the right people, because you know it's not the right people. So you're just making arrests and you're probably locking up American citizens. But these people need to be gone. They don't need to be here. They don't need to be in our jail. They need to be gone. And I don't care how gone they get.
Okay, so you're able to confirm that this Venezuelan gang has indeed taken over at least some of the buildings. You're saying at least 2 of the 3. And what I just heard from you is you don't know how they ended up there. And you even made a suggestion that they could have been sent there by federal officials. I heard you suggest.
Well,
I mean, do you have any reason to believe that to be the case?
So here's the problem. I think we're a victim of a failed policy at the southern border, because what you have, Venezuela does not according to my law enforcement, Venezuela does not cooperate with the United States in sharing criminal histories.
Under Donald Trump, they did. He forced them to take them back. You know how he forced them to take them back? He threatened their governments. And what did the left do? They got mad. Oh my God, he's so mean. He's threatening these foreign governments. It worked. And the governments that we give funding to, that's not one of them. But the ones that we do give funding to, he threatened them and said, we will not give you funding unless you take these illegals back, extradite them, and lock them up. We don't want them here. You're taking them back. What they do, and he said this several times, Trump has said this several times. He said when it's time to send them back, and they did this under Obama, they would fill up the landing strips so that we could not land and give them back their prisoners, the people they let out of prison. So Trump threatened them. You will get no money from me until you take these people back. And what did they do? He said the next day, which means they probably within a week, called them back and said, okay, we'll take them back. So there's a way to handle this. He just didn't handle it. Or he just handled it. Biden didn't handle it. Kamala didn't handle it. They have no idea how to do this stuff because they don't want to be mean. To Mike Levin's point, we don't want to offend them. We want to deport them. But the government doesn't want to offend them or deport them. They don't want to lump them in and stereotype, hey, listen, You know, not all, not all, not all. That's what they want. That's the game they like to play. It's pretty phenomenal.
You had a third of the country leave. You've had these massive waves of migrants coming across the border that many of them crossed the border illegally, were arrested, asked for political asylum, were not adequately vetted, were released into the country.
If you ask for political asylum, the first thing you need to do is vet them. Why are you asking for political asylum? Where are you applying for a political asylum from? I mean, they only have to say it. They don't have to prove it, because he just said we're not adequately vetting them, even though they're saying we want political asylum. From where? What country are you from? We just let them in, and then we allow the process to happen while they're here. So I tell my son, never open a door for anybody. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you can see them through the glass. Don't open a door. I'll open a door. Why? We don't let people in to find out who they are. We check through a peephole. We check our cameras. We look through a window. We look through a shade, a blind, to find out who it is before we open the door. But America lets them in and then vets them. And then when they commit a crime, well, we don't listen. Not everyone who's walked into our home has killed somebody or stolen something. So we don't want to lump them into this category of bad people. It's offensive. And this is why everyone hated Trump. For years, he was saying, they're not sending their best. Not all, not all, not all. That's what the left wants to hear. Not all, not all, not all. Are you saying all? No, I'm not saying all. I'm saying they're not sending their best. We're getting criminals. We're getting murderers. We're getting R-worders. And what do? For years, they use that as proof that he's a xenophobe, that he's a racist.
The city of Aurora, we did everything we could to quite frankly, keep them out of the city, because it's not our problem. This is a federal problem. This is a problem borne by the federal government.
That's it. They did everything they could, even though he waited a year and a half. Everything they could have done. Yes, I agree, Phoenix Rising. They have more rights than actual citizens. The police would come if it was us. I'm not gonna say what you said, but this is 100% true. And what's the first thing they do when they stop you to find out if it's you? They ask for an ID. These people don't have IDs. So when they get there, what? Who are you? Oh, well, my name's Joe. How do you validate that? How do you know it's even who they're saying that they are? It's impossible. And this is what we're doing. This is what we want to do. What do you think? What do you guys think of this? The link is pinned if anyone wants to talk about this. Otherwise, I have one more thing I can do. I was going to make a video out of it, but I can just pull it out because it kind of is related. So I can pull that up. And it's short. It's very short. Why are these stories not being told until it's too late? That councilwoman, that city councilwoman, has been trying to get the mayor to do something for over a year. We're just finding out about it now. This is now national news. This became national news 12 days ago. I made a video about it, so it's probably within a week that happened, or that it became known nationally, because I found the story. Fascinating stuff, huh? I don't see anybody. So I'll go over one more thing. The media is covering this kind of stuff up because they don't want to offend. That's just what this is. That's what we're looking at. And that's going to be to their detriment and to United States citizens' detriment. So it is crazy, huh, Bolo? What's going on, sir? I saluted, but I don't know if you saw that. It's crazy. It's crazy. In this country, there's no way that this should be possible. So, speaking of censorship, and I'm calling it censorship, but it's really a media cover-up. I'm sure you guys have seen Mark Zuckerberg, which I don't believe him. I don't believe anything he says. I believe what he's saying, but I don't believe he's saying it for the right reason. Actually, you know
example
what?
after
Yeah, I'm gonna do
example of this administration.
This is Josh Hawley talking to Zuckerberg. Actually, no, in this case, he wasn't talking to Zuckerberg, but this is them talking about what they did on Twitter during the last election. And I believe this is what they're going to try to do again this time because they're already covering stuff up. But this is insane. This is insane.
We have example after example of this administration coordinated, apparently, according to a federal court, by your agency, pressuring, coercing social media companies to engage in censorship. Is that constitutional?
That is unequivocally false.
All right. Who he's talking to is Alejandro Mayorkas, head of the Department of Homeland Security. Yeah, he's not DOJ. He's Homeland Security. He said it is false, 100% false, absolutely false.
Unequivocally false.
Unequivocally.
Is what the emails show.
It is unequivocally false, Senator.
You are not pressuring the big tech companies to take down accounts. You are not meeting with them to ask them to censor on your behalf.
That is correct. We are not.
Here's my
All right. Okay, I'll let it play.
Point, Mr. Secretary. It has been established for years in this country, as you very well know because you're a lawyer, that the federal government may not use private third parties to engage in activities that are unconstitutional. That's exactly what you and this administration are doing. You are leveraging private companies to carry out censorship on your behalf. It's dystopian, but worse than that, it's unconstitutional.
It's also false.
Turn now to a story breaking overnight. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg claims he was pressured by the White House to censor content related to COVID-19 during the pandemic. Aaron Katersky joins us now with details. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning to you, Whit. For years, critics have taken aim at Facebook for silencing views that challenge the general consensus in the medical community, especially about the origin of COVID-19. Now, Facebook's founder surprisingly says they're right. This morning, Meta chief Mark Zuckerberg admitting he bowed to pressure from the Biden administration to censor content. The Facebook founder issuing a letter to the House Judiciary Committee that said senior administration officials pushed the social media platform to censor posts about COVID-19 and expressed a lot of frustration when the company resisted. Zuckerberg saying, "I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it." Adding, "I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again." House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan celebrating the letter, calling it a big win for free speech.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
That's the guy who's trying to become the VP. All right, why did I bring this up? Because social media will flag stuff, and I won't say we all know it. I know for a fact they will flag stuff, whether or not it's true. They don't really care. They like that label of misinformation, disinformation. Mark Zuckerberg has now confirmed, which he kind of did before on Joe Rogan's podcast, but now he sent a letter to Congress. And he said, wait a minute, that guy Alejandro Mayorkas lied. He lied to Congress. That is a crime. You cannot commit perjury to Congress. He should be in jail right now. He should lose his position. He should be forced to resign. He openly lied. Now, I wish Mark Zuckerberg would say who, or at least the office who did it, so we can go after those people, but they're not going to do it. The federal government has a responsibility to not censor speech. The reason why people aren't hearing stories like that Venezuela story is because the media is sitting on it. They do not want people to know that it's been going on for over a year under the Biden administration. That mayor does not want people to know that he's been asking. He said it's a federal issue. He said it's a border issue. What are they weakest on? The border. He did not want to let everyone know Biden is failing at responding. So what do? They just don't talk. They don't. Why should we cover this story? It's not helpful to us, and we need power. That's what this is all about. So this administration, Biden, Harris included, pressured social media, which, again, we already knew this when the Twitter files were released, but it's a little bit different when you have an official letter sent to Congress. And I think he's doing it for shady reasons. I think he knows that they're going to start cracking down on some of the things that Zuckerberg does. So I think he has alternative reasons for doing it. And I think he knows Trump is going to win and Trump is going to demand answers. So what he's doing is he's getting ahead of it. So he can say, no, 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 no. Before the election, I let you guys know that they were coming after normal citizens and censoring and taking away their First Amendment rights. That's what I think this is. But the correlation between that and knowing about Venezuela and all the information that I try and share that people don't know about is the news picking and choosing what stories will reflect good on them and what stories will reflect good on the Democrat Party. And then they just censor them. Hunter Biden's laptop? No. Misinformation, disinformation. Where'd they get that information? It's stolen. This is what they do. And absolutely, absolutely, they want to hold their seats. This is just what they do. They're always running for their next term, which means they never have time to actually do anything. You get in office, as soon as you get in office, you're starting to run for your next term. That's what they do. It's wild that their job is reliant on being funded so much money that it'll take them 2 to 4 years to be able to run again. It's nonstop campaigning. So you'll have people who won't sign a bill that they agree with, but they won't sign it because they don't want to offend the DNC, who will fund their race or pull it. Whoever's the leader of the House will pull your funding and say, you're not running again. We're going to primary you. We're going to pay to get you out of your seat. So people can't vote the way they want to vote in Senate or in the House. This is what they do. This is what they do. It's a game. It's censorship. It's outright censorship. I'm going to play this one more time so you can hear Josh Hawley saying what he was saying to Alejandro Mayorkas, and Mayorkas lying to Congress, outright committing perjury.
We have example after example of this administration, coordinated apparently, according to a federal court, by your agency, pressuring, coercing social media companies to engage in censorship. Is that constitutional?
That is unequivocally false.
Is what the emails show.
It is unequivocally false, Senator.
You are not pressuring the big tech companies to take down accounts. You are not meeting with them to ask them to censor on your behalf.
That is correct. We are not.
Here's my point, Mr. Secretary. It has been established for years in this country, as you very well know because you're a lawyer, that the federal government may not use private third parties to engage in activities that are unconstitutional. That's exactly what you and this administration are doing. You are leveraging private companies to carry out censorship on your behalf. It's dystopian, but worse than that, it's unconstitutional.
It's also false.
Turn now to a story breaking overnight. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg claims he was pressured by the White House to censor content related to COVID-19 during the pandemic. Aaron Katursky joins us now with details. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning to you, Whit. For years, critics have taken aim at Facebook for silencing views that challenge the general consensus in the medical community, especially about the origin of COVID-19. Now, Facebook's founder surprisingly says they're right. This morning, Meta chief Mark Zuckerberg admitting he bowed to pressure from the Biden administration to censor content. The Facebook founder issuing a letter to the House Judiciary Committee that said senior administration officials pushed the social media platform to censor posts about COVID-19 and expressed a lot of frustration when the company resisted. Zuckerberg saying, I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it.
It just took him 2 years to say something? Oh, actually, no. It's 2024, so that would have been 2021. It took him 3 years to say something? No, you see the writings on the wall.
Adding, I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again.
Don't worry, everybody. If it happens again, we won't do it again. If they start trying to pressure us, we're going to say, no, not this time. Not this election.
House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan celebrating the letter, calling it a big win for free speech.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
Yeah. Right. Okay, Tim Walz. That, unless somebody wants to come up, that is all I have for today because I still have some videos that I got to make. I have so much stuff, guys. So much stuff. I was gonna go over um, my timeline and seeing so many more Black people, especially Black women, um, waking up, and it's beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful thing to see. But I don't have time to do that. But if anyone wants to come up, otherwise, speak now, or forever hold your peace, or at least till my next live. I can start dropping some links in here. I mean, double check, make sure I have not ignored anyone and done anyone bogus. I have not. Let's see. Free J, I appreciate you for the cash out. I genuinely appreciate anyone who's willing to give anything to anybody that they don't have to give is a blessing. That's how I see it. That's how I always see it. You are the stream sponsor. I'm going to start dropping links. Actually, first, I'm going to thank everybody. Bolo VNR, I appreciate you coming in here, sir. I really do. Mike Levin, thank you. L Boogie, as always. Phoenix Rising, day one. Day one. Appreciate you. Appreciate you always being here to support. Kay Soprano is a newer person. Love seeing you in here more and more. It's pretty awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm up to 400 subscribers now. That is so cool to me because I where I came from when it comes to, especially when it comes to the subscribers, my channel has not been liked. They've been it's been I've had so many videos that I've had to correct or alter or edit that it's really cool seeing my channel grow over the last couple of months. I'm very humbled and thankful for it. It's really cool. And I've been upgrading. You guys see my background's changed. I got the new flag behind me. I got a new camera. I'm trying to get another one. I got a new microphone. The goal is to get to the 500 subscribers, get monetized, and start paying for more stuff. I got a sound machine over here. I got a lot going. I got more lights. I'm gonna get a new light for the front. Definitely need a new camera since this one just decided to do what it wanted to do earlier. I don't know what that was. That was wild. I think that was the topic though. Miss Akimi, I appreciate you coming in. Who else was in here? Mike Levin, I think I already said. Amber's Truth, appreciate you. Free J, I already said. Thank you. That's the stream sponsor. Amber C was in here. Thank you. Appreciate you always being in here. Another day one. Appreciate it. Who else? Said K's. Vince the Sniper was in here. Appreciate you, sir. Miss SJ was in here. Appreciate you also. Who else? I think I got everybody. If not, I feel horrible and it's genuine. Amber's Truth, I said. Thank you all for coming in here. I'm going to start dropping those links, like I said. And head downstairs and eat. I got to eat something. I haven't eaten since. I haven't eaten all day since this morning. All right, so links. Let's see. This young lady, I am a huge fan of. Her name is Real Talk Nikki. Outstanding content creator on here and on Instagram. She's phenomenal. It's already done, bro. Channel below. I appreciate you saying that, man. Hopefully, that would be cool. That would be very cool. We have Mel. It's very similar content to mine. Another really strong, good content creator. Not just because he agrees with me on a lot of things, but he genuinely, his content is what he truly believes, and it's hard to find people who do that. So when I see that genuine position and there's a passion behind it because he wants to get the truth out, I will always support. Biz 101, another great content creator. If you want to learn about finances, go to Biz 101. This person here never ever needs an introduction. We've seen him over here a few times. Homie Brown Bus Life. He doesn't need my endorsement. I'm going to give it anyway. Miss Akimi, who was here earlier, I apologize to her. I went live not knowing that she was going live, and she went live like 15 minutes before me. I'm like, oh no, I felt bad, especially because I don't usually go live on Saturdays, so I really felt bad. So I apologize again. I will go back and watch the rest of her live. Please sub up to her and watch her last live because it was very important. She talked about something similar. She was talking about immigration, and she came at it from a different angle. So definitely worth watching. This, to me, in my opinion, is the single best YouTuber on this entire app. And that would be Damn DPOV. Covers great content, pop culture, hip hop. Very, very, very funny. Super talented. Editing, total package. Dude is awesome. Awesome. Miss Selena. We will be doing. Such a nice guy. We will be doing once a month. Me and 3 of my friends are going to be joining Miss Selena's panels to be talking about men's stuff. And she does like a women's version of it, like I don't know what she calls it. I don't want to butcher it, so I don't know what she calls it. But she does like a women's panel, and she wants to do a men's panel. And we did one. I want to say Monday. If you didn't catch that, please go check that out. It was very, very good. Very good conversation. Very good. All positivity. I love it. Vince the Sniper is my friend. I think he's going live tonight. Different type of content. So be prepared. It's not the type of content that I do, but he's going to be leaning into sports now. So if you're into college sports, he's going to be leaning into that more. So, and he's a friend of mine, so I will always support him. Jay is another friend of mine, but he's not online yet. We're getting there. You know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to steal some of his Instagram reels, some of the videos that he's made in the past, and I'm going to post them, and then I'm going to at him and force him to go live. That's what I think I'm going to start doing. I just thought about it right now. Jay, I got you. I'm going to post some of his old stuff. But anyway, if you would like to donate to the channel and provide a fresh wind, we need a fresh wind. This is my Cash App. As you can see, I will put your name up here. I will put your name in the description, and thank you, because it is that cool to me that anyone would contribute that way. It's fascinating, and I love it. I do have a Rumble channel. Every time I go live here, I go live there, and I see I don't know what's going on right now, but I see people popping in on Rumble on the StreamYard side. You guys can't see it, but I can see it. It's really, really, really cool watching my videos get traction over there, because it's a whole different platform. So that's really, really cool. And I want to build my following over there also. So if anything over here happens like the Zuckerberg type of stuff, or they keep trying to censor my videos, I can just shift over to Rumble. So if you are on Rumble, please check out my channel. Exact same name. The link is right there. If you're not on Rumble, I would say you should check it out, especially if you're a content creator. Because again, if you lose your content for any reason, if you start getting strikes, or they start trying to censor and say, oh, we don't want you talking about the Triple E, which is coming up soon. If you don't know what that is, I spoke about that. And the only way that Kamala can win or beat Trump, part 2, I talk about a new condition that's coming out. It's not the jab. It's called Triple E. So if the government starts censoring stuff, Rumble will not. So it's a very, very, and the quality is amazing. No different than YouTube, actually, maybe even better. And you can monetize immediately. So it's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You have to request to follow me on Instagram, because a lot of weird stuff happens on YouTube, and I don't want just anybody looking at my life. But if you want to hear my politics somewhere else on a daily basis, nonstop, maybe not nonstop, but at least daily, you can follow me also on X/Twitter. And all the names are the same. Those are my links. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. I think that is everything. Yes. So in the description, I'll have those same people. I always share the video sources that I use. Doesn't mean that's going to be the compilations. I make the compilations. I will be posting that one about Luke, because he's an idiot and he deserves it. I show his hypocrisy, so I will be posting that one probably right after this. That's how annoyed I was by seeing him lecture black men about not supporting a black woman, while all he's done is exploit black women for 25 years, 30 years. Yeah, okay, buddy. Thank you very much again. I appreciate you all, and I am Don't.